All right, what's up, YouTube? This is Boxingwave. So I'm just going to give you my quick thoughts on the Rolly Romero fight against Ismael Barroso over the weekend on Showtime. I didn't see it live, but I was getting a few tweets from people that saw my tweet earlier from the fight. I think maybe a day before the fight, I had tweeted something like, "What if Rolly Romero gets beat up by Ismael Barroso?" And I think while the fight was on, people were tweeting me like, "Hey, that might actually happen." So I didn't see the fight live that night, but I saw it the following morning when Showtime broadcasted the fight again in the morning. And I watched it. I watched most of it, and it was clear that Barroso was winning the fight to me, at least to me. I think he was up on the cards officially. And I thought with his pressure, I thought he was just doing better. He started to fade, though. He did start to fade, but he was able to drop Rolly with a clean shot. I think maybe in the third round or something. Like, Rolly was definitely very cautious and didn't look comfortable for the majority of that fight. All right, but he did get dropped by a hard, clean shot in the earlier rounds. And then I want to say maybe a round or two before the last round, the 10th round or whatever round that was that the fight was stopped. I thought Rolly started to put on, started to change the look of the fight. And Barroso started to look like he was fading. I believe that Barroso is like 40 years old, but he looks like he's like 56 or maybe even older, at least in the face. All right. He looks like an old fighter. Like, he really looks like an old man. Again, he's listed at, I'm looking at it now, he's listed at age 40. But he looks much older than that. You know what I mean? I don't know. Luis Ortiz looked much older than the way he looked, but this guy is definitely the oldest looking active fighter that I've seen in recent years. This guy really, really looks old. But regardless, obviously the fight was stopped prematurely. It's not even premature. It's more like, why did Tony Weeks stop the fight? And politics is the reason why he stopped the fight. It's pretty simple, because from what I saw, and I looked at it a couple of times, it seemed like the last real clean punch that landed was from Barroso. I think he landed like a right hand, like an overhand right. And I know Rolly drew like one or two more punches after that, but it didn't look like they landed clean at all. But it did look like Barroso was off balance. But it looked like that a lot throughout this fight. You know what I mean? He was a southpaw that kept tripping up over his feet. He was lunging from the outside as he was like winging those left hands. And to be honest, man, I don't know. And let me know in the comments if you feel this way, because this is going to be a short video. I'm not going to stay too long on this thing. As I'm watching a fight, this is a championship fight. This is for the vacant WBA title. As I'm watching a fight, I'm thinking to myself, these guys are not even close to being top 10 fighters at 140. You know what I mean? Like, they're not even close to that. As I'm watching the fight, I'm like looking at, like, this seems like a regular undercard fight. Maybe the first fight or second fight on the preliminaries of like a real major fight. Like, these two do not look like, they're barely like world level to me. I'm not even trying to be like funny. I'm being dead serious. I don't think that these two are anywhere near top 10 level. They're not to me. Like, look, Regis Prograis, even T.O., who hasn't been there long, Prograis, Teofimo, Jose Ramirez, Gary Russell, Sandor Martins, Sabriel Matias. Like, these guys are way above these two that fought this weekend. And the fact that this is for a championship fight, it just doesn't make any sense to me how Rolly can get knocked out at 135, move up to 140 and fight for his title, his first fight there. This is all politics. They are obviously trying to force uh, a Ryan Garcia fight, because they can sell that fight. Ryan would be coming off of a loss, to Tank. Rolly had just lost to Tank in his last fight before this one. They both were stopped by Tank. They both talk a lot. They know how to sell fights. Rolly is a big talker, and Ryan is just he's already famous, so they can sell that fight. As two guys that lost to Tank. It'll be at 140, and they can force the title fight now because there's a title on the line. So they're obviously trying to sell themselves for a Ryan Garcia clash. This is why it was very important for Barroso to lose that fight, no matter how well he was doing. And I don't even think he was doing that well. I just think that Rolly's so bad that he was just winning the fight based on the fact that Rolly is just not good. Rolly's only good when he's turning a fight into a complete brawl. But when he has to really think, he did better than what we expected against Tank. And he won like the first 3 rounds. But, it's because Tank respected his power and fought a cautious fight. He was waiting for the perfect time to time him and knock him out, which is what he did. All right. But with all that being said, Tony Weeks, I hate to say it, because I've met Tony a couple of times. He's a gentleman. I respected him as a referee, but he clearly waved off the fight too soon because it was too important not to let Rolly win the fight. Even though I think Rolly at that moment was winning the fight. All right. I think that, it was going in his favor at that point in the fight, but the fight wasn't over. It's not over until it's over. And he didn't land a clean punch for Tony Weeks to step in, or a clean enough punch for Tony Weeks to step in and wave it off. It was definitely one of the worst stoppages that we've seen in recent years. It's up there. That's up there as any of the worst stoppages that we've seen. I can't even put it in a category for a premature stoppage because I need a premature stoppage is you stepping in when a fighter maybe not throwing enough punches back, or there's been a couple hard shots that landed clean and the ref jump in. This wasn't even that. This is just like he just stepped in out of nowhere. And if you were watching it live, because watching it on a replay is different from watching it live. When you're watching it live and then the angle that they were showing it live, you're like, what happened? What are you stopping it for? Because from that angle, it's like you see nothing. And when you slow it down and look at the other angles, all you're seeing is Rolly not even connecting clean. I see a punch that landed from Barroso as he was getting swarmed. What is Tony doing? Obviously, we know what he's doing. He's protecting the fighter that is supposed to win. That's corruption in boxing. It is what it is. It's corruption. It's pure corruption. Nothing more to really say about this. This guy, Rolly Romero, is not in the league of any elite fighter at 140 or at 135. All right? He should not be a champion. That fight should not have been for a title, a major title. And that's it. Whether it's a major or junior, I don't know what it is. But I tell you, that WBA title, why was he even in a position to fight for that title? I understand that the other fighter they tested positive for drugs or something listen, regardless, Rolly should have never been in that position. But obviously, they were trying to sell themselves a Ryan Garcia comeback fight. And that's it. So anyway, if Ryan doesn't take a fight, hopefully one of the guys that's over there, that's with the, hopefully one of those guys that's with the, what's it called? Let me just check to make sure, because on BoxRec it says for the WBA super title. All right. hopefully they can make a unification between Sabril Matias, since he's already over there with the PBC, and Rolly Romero, and get this belt out of this guy's hands, because this guy doesn't deserve to be a champion over there. Um, in any division at 140 or 135. He just doesn't deserve it. He's already had a gift win, all right, against Jackson Marinas. He already had that gift win, and then to go on, get knocked out by Tank, and then go on again and get another gift from an old 60-year-old guy is ridiculous. This is crazy. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that, man. I'll see you guys on the next one. Please. Peace.